So we say basically we follow always documentations revealed by the company. जैसे the machine learning, whatever the algorithms we have learned that keep in the single place in the scikits learn, right? So that library broadly used scikits library. So there you can find the documentations. In the pandas, you can find the documentations. For the NumPy, you can find the documentations, right? So first we have to download those documentations. And in the every steps, like I will show you, and I will also give you one two books. There you can understand how here I have just left this B1. मैं सिर्फ B1 की ही बात करता रहा. Then how we can also optimize this B1, which kinds of mathematics we will use. So in this PPT, just they apply these classifications and something. So here we try to first talk about the source. I think you all are aware about this. Where is the internet? You can give Wi-Fi or we can use. And you can also do the practice over the Kaggle. Kaggle के ऊपर everything they have given. I don't think कि मैं भी उससे अच्छा define करके बता पाऊंगा. The every steps they have written. So you have to make the account over the Kaggle, right? They have freely, you can make the account. And we talked about first. HDMI source. Okay. No signal found. This one. Yes. You can see here, we talked about what classification, regression and clustering. You can see classifications, regression and clustering, right? All the people who are coming to give any talk, they learn from these sites. In IIT, ISC and all the NIT, the people learn from the basic websites. There they reveal the documentations. So you can also find some sort of documentations. So you can write here this PDF guide. So this is our source. मैं भी यहीं से जो भी पढ़ना रहता है, we'll see these documentations. You can see here classifications. We just click it. Sorry. First I come from this document. इसको मैं डाउनलोड कर लेता हूँ. We are on the classifications, right? Here you can see, here we click here the part recognizing handwritten digits, normal and shrinkage linear. The next what they given, discriminant analysis for the classifications, the plot classifications, right? So all the examples they have, the basic examples they have taken. For these examples they have also written the code. This one you can see, this is the classifications report for classifier and use SVM support vector classifier, and there they pass some sort of value, the parameters they have fixed, the cache size, this one, the class weight अभी none है, the weight we have assigned, यहाँ पे मैं कहा था initial weight, this one. So कोई भी algorithms में or models में when we try to make this model, we have to assign the initial value. Initial value, let's say I don't know the actual value, so that's why we keep the initial value. So initial value we say, okay, this value b1 is 0.001 random value I have assigned, but in the every iterations they fix it this value, right? And they try to reach out a nearer correct value always. उसको एक तरीके से कहते हैं the functions loss also. In the functions loss, when we try to find out, we say the two value we assign in the functions, the two value only. One, this f, and we give the value like b and n. This n is the actual value and this b is nearer value, maybe the nearer n or maybe not nearer n, but we'll get the value b. So we will always try to tilt towards the n, right? So for this part we will fix some sort of parameters in the functions. आप देखना जब ऑप्टिमाइज करते हैं बेसिकली, the if any person who learn the more the mathematics especially, so when we try to optimize our algorithms, right, or the existing algorithms, where we try to fix some sort of value, जो algorithms develop करता है might be they cannot, but we will fix value. That means the c value we try to fix 2, right? So 2 is one value, that value always we fix in the parameters, the functions parameters. So we say here is all the value and all the way you can get these classifications and the meaning. So we provide the step by step first, right? This one is only to know about this value. So here you can see the precision, recall, F1 score, support, right? So when we try to find the precision, how we can find the precision? We say we have true positive, false positive, right? So we can write the true positive divide true positive plus false positive, और उसमें और भी आप पैरामीटर्स ऐड कर सकते हैं, that it depends on you, right? So based on those we'll get this matrix. In this matrix you can see the value, क्या value है, 0 1 0 1 0 1, right? We say always when we try to find out and keep the value 0 1 0 1, what is the actual meaning and why we made this matrix. So we say when we try to make any matrix, not this matrix, matrix basically what they show. So we arrange whole this scenario and try to just little bit understand about this matrix part and come fastly on the topic. So we write here the equations like x, 2x, 3y, 4z is equal to 0. Right? Again, we have equations like 4x, 7y, 3z is equal to 5. Again, we have 2x, 2y, 6z is equal to 2. These three equations we have. Right? How we can find the value of this x, y and z? So one process we can take elimination process. Eliminate first either the x we try to eliminate, right? After that we try to eliminate y and then we will get the value of z. So this process we call the eliminations. कैसे? इन दोनों को solve करूंगा मैं, right? This one equations 2, this is the equations 1. So in the we multiply 2 in the equations 1 minus equations 2. This one is the 2, right? यही process करते हैं. So we can write here, okay, this 2x plus, sorry, this 4x plus 6y plus 8z is equal to 0. We have 4x plus 7y plus 3z is equal to 5 minus. So this one is cancel out, minus y plus 5z is equal to minus 5. So we can write here, okay, y minus 5z is equal to 5. So we have eliminate x. Again फिर से इन दोनों को solve करके again we eliminate x, right? After that we eliminate y, eliminate z. So this is one kind of procedure. The next procedure is what? The next procedure is what? Either we don't follow this one, we can directly make what? A matrix. So we can say, okay, this one we try to make one matrix and we can write the value 2, 3, 4 and 0. Again this one 4, 7, 3 and 5. This one 2, 2, 6 and 2. Right? And whatever the matrix rule we know, we just apply the matrix rule over this matrix. This matrix name, let's say M1 or M. When we try to solve this matrix, we'll get the same value of x and y and z. Whatever the value I have get through the eliminations method, right? But when we try to represent our data, this method is correct or this method is best? Might be we have a more variable. The here is given the 3 equations, might be we have the 10 equations, the 20 equations. Then how we can solve the 10 or 20 equations through this elimination methods? That is too complex, right? So that's why we say okay, we try to keep all the data in the matrix format and we just use whatever the matrix rules we have. Based on those rules we try to solve this matrix only, and once we get the matrix हम वहां पे क्या करते हैं, always we say कि okay, नीचे के पार्ट को जीरो करो, this one make 0, this one 0 0 0, right? यही काम करते हैं. फिर this one 0, this one 0, this one, right? And after we will get either the 1 or 2 variables. So basically we are able to find out a single equations through this matrix, right? That means when we try to keep the n dimensions, the n equations we are not able to solve, the human mind not able to solve. So those equations we try to solve with the help of machine learning, right? So that's why we say कि we keep those data in this matrix form, and matrix very easily we are able to solve. There is no any complexity. So in the several times in the machine learning, we are using these matrices where there the documentations available in the NumPy, right? So one by one I will show you, and then we will execute the code. कोड का मैं मीनिंग भी बताता जाऊंगा, क्या क्या इंपोर्ट करना रहता है, राइट? पांडास में आप जाओगे, वहां पे क्या देखना है, वी विल टेल यू जस्ट फास्ट. So this is first the documentations in the PDF format. After that we say we have already this one. There we can directly find the algorithms, right? The gradient, the nearest neighbor, the random forest, logistic regressions, this one in the more, right? You can see. So which algorithms we try to implement here? Let's say initially we started from this linear model, this one, right? In this linear model you can see from sklearn import linear model. What is the meaning? What is the meaning? Our linear underscore model function is available in sklearn, right? So in this sklearn we try to import those model. That's why I written from sklearn. इसलिए पाइथन बहुत ही सिंपल है, जैसे हम बात करते हैं वैसे ही कोड को भी लिखते हैं वहां, राइट? सो फ्रॉम sklearn क्या इंपोर्ट करना है? लीनियर मॉडल. नेक्स्ट, regression is equal to linear model we have imported. लीनियर मॉडल कैसा रिजल्ट देगा? जो पहले रिजल्ट बना था बोर्ड पे, यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. ऊपर भी ग्राफ में आप देख सकते हैं, दिस वन, राइट? सो इन द नेक्स्ट पार्ट आप देखो, once we have imported model, that means the functions already they have built, उसका टेंशन मुझे नहीं लेना है. विच टेंशन? जो मैं बोल रहा था बार बार, दिस इक्वेशंस y is equal to b नॉट प्लस b1x, इसका हमें टेंशन, इसके लिए हमें अब कोड नहीं करना है, राइट? अगर मैं स्क्रैच से ये मॉडल बनाता, देन अगेन वी हैव टू कोड, अगेन वी हैव टू डिफाइन कि इसके लिए एक फंक्शन बनाता f of x, y is equal to, and we have to pass some parameters. So in these functions we have to pass the value is what? The first we have to pass the value of f of x. So in this x we have to pass this b naught, b1 and x, right? इसका टेंशन हमें नहीं लेना है, they have already developed. So that's why very simple language they have written कि okay, from sklearn import linear model. So they given the always, when we try to define any functions, always we use the underscore. कोई भी मॉडल्स बनाते हैं, the two name we try to keep together, we always write okay, this one underscore this one. The computer science engineering में कुछ और स्पेसिफाई करना चाहे, then we can write underscore, right? So they have written. After that they use the word reg for the regressions. They have, आप कोई भी नाम यूज कर सकते हो, xyz, right? is equal to what? linear model जो हम import किए थे, and whatever the things we try to access, there we use what? the dot. फाइल, किसी एक्सेस फाइल को एक्सेस करना होता है, क्या करते हैं? एक नाम से दूसरा नाम, दूसरे से तीसरे, तीसरे से चौथे जगह पहुंचना होता है, क्या करते हैं? द एवरी प्लेस आइदर वी कैन यूज दिस एरो. अगर ये बॉक्स है, इन द बॉक्स आई हैव कीप सम इंफॉर्मेशन, राइट, इन द डेटा स्ट्रक्चर. सो ऑलवेज वी ट्राई टू कीप दिस वन. सो आइदर वी पॉइंट आउट थ्रू दिस एरो or be pointed through this dot. everyone know, right? So let's say we try to point out this one. So this one name is B. So B dot. We also try to point out this one. This one name is C dot. जितना point out करना है dot dot dot, we can reach up to those file, those locations, right? So here you can see they have using this linear model. They have find out. Use what? Dot linear regressions, right? Linear regressions. Why linear regressions they have used? To evaluate the results. मैंने कहा था आपसे we can use the any predefined model जो मैं जानता हूं like logistic functions, right? उसको मैं लिखा था logistic regressions, right? So here in the same way either you can make the linear regressions or the linear model. So in this linear model we have one more functions, the linear regressions. So we use dot. After that we try to fit some value or try to fit some data, right? So for the value is the very simple. For the data we have to use some sort of path and the pandas, right? We will also show you. Here is the value is very small, that's why they can just write the fit. The always in the fit we have to close this bracket. Why? Because this is predefined functions, and in the predefined functions whatever the parameters they have decided we have to give those value, we have to assign those value. Either those value we can fix in the from our side, or either we can take the default value, right? So always assign the value. That's why here in the fit they have assigned to value 0 0 1 1 2 2 0 1 2, right? So this is what, this is not possible in the array, especially in the C. In the C we define the array size, और आप वहां पे ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि array size once we define for the 2 element and we try to keep the 3 element. But here you can see in this array only 1 0, in this array 1 1, in this array 2 2, but in this array. So NumPy gives such kinds of facilities. There you can write the n number of dimensions you can use in the NumPy. So that is the beauty of the NumPy, where they cannot give any limitations. You can freely use whatever the value you want to keep in the array. The dimension size could be n. Why we have several times we talked about these dimensions? Because 1 2 3 4 5 6. So when we keep 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3, that means what? These are the features. So on those features we are keeping the value, right? So we say n number of features. When we use, we can say the n number of dimensions, right? So in the data, why is it deflected so many times? After that they called those linear regressions and the find the actual coefficient. So you can see the given the actual coefficient 0.5 0.5. What is the meaning of this 0.5 0.5? We say in this equation, come again, we have b0 and b1, right? So two value we try to know what is the value of b0 and what is the value of b1. We will find those value b0 and b1, the 0.5 and the 0.5, right? So that is the very basics. आप बहुत ही इजी इस डॉक्यूमेंट को समझ सकते हैं, इसको आप पढ़ सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं. So when we use this fit model with the different kinds of data set, we cannot, the every entry we cannot make, right, through the hand. अगर मैं कहा in this on the board I have discussed the 1000 entry, so we cannot write the 1000 entry, right? So we have to keep those 1000 entry in the data set and we try to give the path, right? So that path we will deal in the pandas. The pandas give the facility to deal the different data types and the data models. Model like the text, the data types like the text, audio, video, image. So that facility we will achieve in the pandas. We will show you the pandas documentations and the code also, right? After that you can see the more example of this regressions and classifications. They are always use this mathematics, the mean value, right? We don't explain here this mathematics part, but again they have written this code. You can see in this code you can find any difference in the next code. This one. The previous code is this one. So there is any difference in this code, this one, and what is this difference? You can see there they fix the right alpha is equal to 0.5, right? So sometimes we supply our value, not the system value. Classifications you can see the same code. This one, import, आप देखो, we try to deal with the more array. So there we have imported import numpy. So every time we cannot write the numpy. So short name I have written numpy as a np. आप देखो in the English also we can use this Priyadarshini college as a p. So pandas, sorry, the Python is very the user friendly language. Whatever we are using in the day to day life, they are using the same way. The numpy we can use as a np, right? So every time we can use np dot. So every time we have to not write this numpy, right? Again from the sklearn import linear model जो same है, again fit the value, again fix the value and find the results, right? The several times, अभी तक इसमें loop नहीं है, not we are going to provide any epoch iterations. Whatever the value just we have supplied, based on those value they have given the output, right? So when we see this one, आप देखो the every code you can understand. मैथमेटिक्स से बीच बीच में दिया है, बट यू लिव इट. आप इसको ऐसा नहीं कि इसको पढ़ना ही है तभी आपको नीचे का कोड समझ में आएगा. द कोड इज डिफरेंट, ठीक है. दे हैव यूजिंग दिस मैथमेटिक्स to understand, like me people, we always focused on mathematics, what is the equations, what is the functions they have written in the behind. So for that they have given, okay, you can left it. So directly you can reach on the code and you can see the several code they have assigned you under this regressions, under this classifications, under this Bayesian regressions, right? जितना भी कोई भी डॉक्यूमेंटेशंस बनाता है, कोई भी बुक लिखता है, वो सारा कोड यहाँ से उठाता है, ठीक है. कोई भी आप वेबसाइट पे आप कहीं भी आप देखना ट्यूटोरियल लिखा हुआ होता है, कोड यहाँ से होगा, ठीक है. दैट इज द बेसिक. We'll see you the documentations of this numpy. The same way you can find this numpy. See this one. So this is open source numerical computing tools. Try NumPy. Here is documentations given. This one we always learn this documentation. This one. The first user guide manual. This one. What is NumPy? Installations, NumPy quick start. Everything they have given. So we try to find out okay NumPy quick start. You can see the basic first definitions given, and based on those definitions given the code. In this code they have using this NumPy, import NumPy as a NP, and there the NP arrange जितना भी डेटा सेट के साथ आप जो भी फंक्शंस यूज करते हैं या जो भी उस पर ट्रांजेक्शन्स परफॉर्म करते हैं, ठीक है, दोज ऑल वी कैन मैनिपुलेट थ्रू दिस NumPy. देखो द np डॉट अरेंज 15 डॉट रीसेप 3 and 5. आप देखो 3 and 5 के ऑर्डर में दैट इज द रीसेप order, the 3 into 5 0 1 2 3 4, and the column row they have used the 3, right? So we can make the any manipulations through this NumPy. That is the beauty. See, if we have to read the documentations, बहुत ही इजी है डॉक्यूमेंटेशंस को समझना. मैं बार बार बोलता हूं आपको, आप कोई भी बुक उठाओ, द रेफरेंस बुक, कुछ भी जो बड़ा से बड़ा राइटर बुक लिखा है, आप देखना व्हाट दे हैव यूजिंग. They have using this example. Might be they have slightly they have manipulated the word, the sentence, right? But the code, the example they have taken from this documentations, right? So the next array creations. So for the basic point of view, how we will play with the array, we have to learn this NumPy and we have to use this user guide. There the basic, the 4-5 example we can perform. After that we will understand exactly how we can reshape our data, how we can manipulate in the data, right? So all the same code we can use in the machine learning. The next, this is all the basic printing array, all the basic part. You can see they have covered all the basics. Just आपको क्या करना है, where we can use, either if you have the system with any Ubuntu or Linux based, there you can just install Anaconda. In the Anaconda they have provided almost all the tools, right? Just to go and play which kinds of tools we have to install, and after that they have given like the different notebook. So we can use like the Jupyter notebook, the very famous, the spider notebook also you can use, right? The Google Colab is the different, but we are talking about over the system, right? The Google Colab, like if you want to use the Google Colab, then there is the easy to use the Kaggle. The Kaggle given the more efficient and the user friendly layout compare than the Google Colab. There you can usually import, easily you can execute the code. Those execution is very easy. I will show you. Okay, just go and edit, just give the path, just very easily you can find the results, right? So I will show you. So you can see in the documentations, once you try to learn this, you can just download these documentations, do the practice, just the basic things, and these things we can use to manipulate our actual data, right? So I think the more than the 1100 page of this NumPy. And in the similar way, we have one more that we call pandas. So you can see pandas, the Python data analysis library, right? In the NumPy, they have not written this is the data analysis library, right? There they are using only to manipulate the data, but this is the data analysis library. So here you can see in this user guide, simply the same way the NumPy, import NumPy as a NP. You can see here import pandas as a PD. PD is the short name of pandas. आप कुछ भी name रख सकते हो उसके लिए, that is user dependent factor, right? And then some data frame, we try to access the data, so access the data through this data frame. So always we use the data frame one kinds of functions, we can use the data through those functions, right? So when we try to use the data frame under this panda, so we can write the panda, we can use the name the PD, the short name, so PD dot data frame, right? So in the data frame, initially they have given the data, they have not accessed the data from the any other sources, they have already given the data like the A, and in the A they have stored the value 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? You can see then they try to give the output. In the A they have stored the value 1 2 3, the next the 0 1 2, this is the index, right, by default, but they have stored the value in A 1 2 3. In the same way they have given the entire user manual, this one, and you can get the easily like the structure, we will show you like this one. So we have some sort of tools like the CSV, HDF5, HDF, used for especially Hadoop distributed file system. Hadoop, I think you all are aware about the Hadoop part. So in this data part, you can see data frame dot to CSV. So our data in the CSV file, there's so many different kinds of file format we have. So in the generic file format, we use the CSV, the full form like the comma separated value, right? So in this file, we can access through this data frame. We will show you where and how. When we try to find the PDF documentations, they given very easily. So here you can see in this documentations, import pandas as a P, from IO import string IO, that means the input output string. So data they have given like the column 1, column 2, column 3. अगर आपके पास data है, just you can keep the data and give the path. Those path we can read through this read CSV, right? So path we can read easily string.io.data. So just we have to give the data path where we have, and just we read through this code our data, just read, okay? So you can see here in the column 1, column 2, column 3, this one, here we don't have any data, just I have fixed the column. That means this data from somewhere else, like the here you can see B1, B2, D3, this one, right? So we try to present our data So there we show you in the PDF format. There they have given the all the code in the single place to just read, write over this data frame. So we will just write the data frame part, and because the data frame is the very famous to access the data and manipulate the category numpy chart visualizations. Wait a minute, one more part we have. Basically for the chart visualizations we can use the matplotlib, other Python uh, tools, right? This one, and we try to aggregate this one. बहुत सारी functions रहती है. This one और भी tools है different different इसके, but we can use this one is the tutorial. Go there, we try to find out so many advanced text color. So first we try to learn about this one. Okay, you can see here they have given the code import numpy as a np, and they have assigned the code t np.arrange. This is the value t np.sign, this one line, this one, and we try to plot it, this one, the final value, right? So these are the part of the practice. हर चीज अवेलेबल आप देखो. The code, once we try to write the code, this code everywhere we can write. This line is fixed, the almost we can use this line. The x-axis, the y-axis, we set the titles, right, the labels, and this line we changed because this is the numpy np.arrange, so we can manipulate our data, right? Again you can see the plot line, which kinds of color we required, so we say the blue. The next, we are not visualizing, right? So all the codes are given, all the codes. Machine learning we say the regressions code they have given, in the numpy the manipulations code they have given, in the pandas the data access code they have given, in the matplotlib how to make the graph the code they have given, right? That means the all the in the documentations, the all the things they have revealed, just we have to learn where those things are, right? After that, how we can use all those things in a single place, right? So in the Kaggle, the where is the role started of the Kaggle? From this point the Kaggle role started. First you can't use the Kaggle. First you have to learn all this basic library, right? There you have to use the practice. Just take the copy and paste. Okay, then you can understand. After that, just change in the code and again the copy paste, like the manipulate in the code and try to see. This is very simple code, right? After that, when we are efficient to understand the manipulations in the code, right, then we are using the Kaggle. There you have to make your own account, and whatever, like the, let's say we try to implement what one machine learning algorithms, we try to tell you the decision tree we want to implement, right? So how we can implement the decision tree, our own data set, right? In the documentations I will show you. First in the pandas, रीड करने के कंटेक्स्ट में मैंने बहुत कुछ आपको नहीं दिखाया है. I will show you especially the part of the data frame, the pandas documentation PDF. There they have given the data frame. दिस वन, आप देखो कितने पेज का है ये। दैट मीन्स व्हाट, दैट मीन्स दे हैव गिवन ऑल द थिंग्स। मैंने बार बार बोला कि आप कोई भी बुक उठाओ, कंटेक्स्ट यहां से अलग नहीं मिलेगा। मे बी दे हैव रिटन द टेक्स्ट इन द डिफरेंट वे, बट कंटेक्स्ट यही है। So you can also write your own book. You can freely use this code, freely use this graph, because this is all the open source. So here we say about search about data frame. Merge copy JSON fixing fast setting. You can see here this one, the series. So sometimes our data in the form of series, sometimes the data frame. So the both we can use to access the data, right? So first we try to see this series. So here we can click just this one, you can see. Let's say this one is our data set D, right? I have given the path in our system, our data set we have. So I have just given the path and store our those path in the D, right? And here you can see just the PD used for the pandas. So PD dot series and pass the parameter D. You can see all the results, right? So, but when we try to work with these machine learning algorithms, we use the data frame, right? So in the back of these documentations, I will show you. Sorry. Oh, the battery is low. Where is my bag? So for the time series data, you can see here the time series, right? This one is the data frame. You can see here this one. In the data frame, we can use the data, access the data from the system. So I will show you where is the path. Here you can see in this example. In the example, this data 2, I have keep own data from the system, just I have given the path. So that pd dot data frame and just we keep the data, right? Might be this code gives some error, right? Because in the actual data set, we have the n number of features. So we have defined this data, might be the features could be different. Some features could be the integer type, some features could be the different data type, right? So might be give some error. So you have to just go there in the data side and write in the data side. You have to manipulate like like the type of the data. Let's say the data is a string. We try to change those string data in normal C data type, like the float data, right? Or like the character data. So what we can do there, just we keep like the int under bracket whatever the data size we have, right? This is the fast way. So when we use this data frame, might be we are using the term might be you cannot get any error. Might be because in the data frame this depends on the version of the pandas, the version of the anacondas, and the version of the numpy. Okay, so the so many versions depends. So if might be the version is not correct, so you will get the wrong results, or the might be the error. So you have to install the version, that version is more enough to work on the those machines configurations, right? So here we try to show you in the descriptive way. You can see here, this is the iris is the very famous data set, the pd.read.csv iris.data, right? So this is the only the reading. We are just reading the iris data and keeping in this iris, right? So iris dot just the keep the head, take the head. So you can see the in the iris features we have what, the first sepal dot length, sepal dot width, petals length, petal width. This is the features they have taken, just we have printed, right? After that we assign some sort of this one, assign this iris ratio, divide this iris head, right? And we will manipulate our data. After that we try to show you how to use this with the data frame. So yes, this one you can see the data frame, the value. After that we will getting the value, the more example they have covered of the data frame, like this one, like this one. Okay, so this is all about the data we can access from our system. The data might be we can generate it in the numpy through the random functions, and those data we also try to access, right? So once we learn this also, along with numpy, pandas, scikits, and matplotlib, then we are able to make any machine learning applications, right? Combine all these four, we are able to make any machine learning model. After that you can make your account on the Kaggle, like this one. I have already made, right? Decision tree classifier. Here we use this copy and edit. This one is the important code. So you can see on the above they have written importing the libraries. This library we have seen where, in the numpy documentations, the numpy as a np. Second, pandas as a PD. The third, matpyplot dot pyplot is the functions under this matpyplot lib. So they consider as a short name PLT, right? And Seaburn also a kinds of data visualizations, right? So there they have using Seaburn ka, again you can find the same document, the kinds of way the documentations. After they have using the short name SN and import the sklearn for the machine learning algorithms, right? So these are the basic library we have to use to make any machine learning applications. How we can run? Just go there, you can see execute. So these executions running over where? The cloud of the Kaggle, right? We can use the same thing in the Google Colab. But why we are not refer the Google Colab? Because Google Colab is little bit complex. When we assign the path from our system, right? We keep our data in our system, data set, and when we try to give the path, there is little bit complexity. But in the Kaggle, they have easily taken those paths. Where yes, we can upload. So that drive we can use as a storage, right? So our system we can use as a storage. गूगल कोलैब ऑलवेज कहता है आप ड्राइव में डेटा डालो, ठीक है? कैगल वैसा नहीं कहेगा. Google Colab always they have given some sort of limitations. Drive we have the 15 GB of limitations, right? Again, when we try to keep the data on the drive and they have always generated some more data, so they fill it. So that's why we have to use this Kaggle, right? After that, you can see the importing the data set. What code they have written? This code we have already seen in the pandas. The same code. This R for the reading. Input social network dot CSV. That means our file format in the form of CSV. CSV we say comma separated value, right? So this value they are keeping where in this DF, right? After they make this DF, they try to make in the iconic XY coordinate. So this I L O indicate the locations, the value given. After that, they assign some value. So they try to keep the value. So when we try to know about, so either we can also here we can write and print the data. If we don't know what is the data in the data set, which kinds of value we have, so the everywhere we can use the print df. We can see here print df, right? We try to make, okay, this one is the comment line. बोर्ड पे दिख नहीं रहा. Okay, we can left it also. You can see here the data they have printed, right? This one. If we remove this line, you can get the value like this one. This one. So only the type of the data df type, right? So in the NumPy they have given the more facilities to manipulate the data, to play with the data. So NumPy is the very important tools when we try to work on the machine learning. So first we have to learn the NumPy. Okay, that's why I've shown you the documentations. After that, you can see the head shape. Next, split the data set into the training data set. Let's say the 100,000 entry we have. So in that 1000 entry, how much data we try to use for the training and how much data we try to use for the testing, right? So in the general, the people are using the 75% data, 70 to 75% or 80% data they have using for the training, and the 20% data they are keeping for the testing. This is the general, but we cannot say you have to use this practice. Might be you can change, you can keep the 50-50, because we say in the machine learning there is no any guarantee for the results. Maybe the same algorithm I am using and I will get the 99% accuracy, and the same algorithm you are using on the different data set and might be you will get the 70% accuracy. But this all about the tuning part. That tuning part I have shown you in the discussions, where we can tune our model, retune our model again and again. That's why we fix the epoch value, right? So here splitting, again you can see for the splitting, where this code we have seen from the sklearn model selection import train and underscore test underscore split. This code you can see where here, right? So whatever the code written in this sklearn library, whatever the code written in this numpy, in this pandas, the all the same code we are using together at the same place, right? So that is the beauty of this documentations. That's why we say you have to refer the documentations to learn any newer technology or the newer things. This is give the better than book, because in the book they have only the author perspective you are going to read, right? But in the documentations, whatever the perspective you want to change, they have given the so many example. In the book they have limitations, they cannot publish the book more than the 600 pages or the 500 pages. The people cannot read those books, right? So they have the limitations, they can just publish the book with the 300 page or the 400 pages. So in the 300 pages, they cannot cover all the example. But you can see in the pandas, they have published around the 2300 pages. Which book you have find on the pandas 2300 pages? No one. So that's why you can find the more and more example in these documentations and try to easily understand the actual thing. The next part, the feature scaling. This one we will try to execute one by one. This one, when we try to add this cell here, cut cell, copy, paste, right? So every facility they have given, but still I am not using this Kaggle. The reason, the practice, they have provided the everything. Then we don't have to write any single code through my hand. Just we have changed the path, just we have written the few codes, the few lines, even the codes, right? So that's why we always practice over the standalone system, that is either the Linux. So you can use the Linux. Over those Linux you can install the pandas, sorry, the Anaconda, and in the Anaconda they have given the lot of library, even the lot of notebook. So in the notebook, the Jupyter notebook is the best, that is the user friendly. The other people use the Spider notebook, right? But in the notebook they have given all the facility, either you can accumulate the data, you can process the data, and whatever see the features here, this code in the background, they are also using some sort of notebook or editor, right? So one by one we'll execute. We say कि इससे बेहतर मैं भी आपको नहीं बताऊंगा. In the documentations they have given the every line they have given, just we need to do practice. This execution they have started, this one run. After that, training decisions. So we talked about entropy, you can see here, you can find this entropy, remember the entropic concept, executed, and finally they have predicted some value. This one, this one, make the confusion matrix. You can see I have discussed why we have make the confusion matrix, right? So they are the entries 329, 62, 6, 329, and overall value they have assigned 0.91. So that is calculated what? This value is what? The precision. We say in the confusion matrix they keep always true positive and false positive value, right? After that they can use the formula like the true positive upon true positive plus false positive, and you can also manipulate this formula. This is not the fixed rule. In the machine learning there is no fixed rule. You can manipulate everything. There you can again add some more parameters and you can write the false negative, the true negative, right? So you can add, because why we say this one? We say because we have to find out the actual value of B. We know we cannot find the actual value, but we always try to find the nearest value of B, right? So the next, they plot the graph over this value, this one. This one is the decision tree they have made. This one is the visualizing. कहाँ से यूज हो रहा है? मैट पाइप्लॉट लिब, द होल द कोड, ये जितना भी आप देख रहे हो, ये होल कोड they have taken from the matplotlib. So that means what? The whole point, whatever we are discussing, that is the part of the summary where we can use the numpy, pandas, matplotlib and scikit-learn. Then we are able to make any applications over the machine learning. कोड हमेशा यही रहने वाला है. There is no change in the code. The very few lines of code we can change in the machine learning. That's why in the recent year the Python grown up. They have left Java because they have given the tremendous functions. Whatever the library you want, they have built. If you want to work in the machine learning, they have given all the code. If you want to work with the deep learning, they have given all the code, right? So this is my all the discussions. The final discussions, I have left one topic: why deep learning required. We have machine learning, we have all such kinds of algorithms. There we are capable to handle many different kinds of problems, but still we require the deep learning. Why? So remember our philosophy I have given. I say in the mind how data store. So where data store? We say the point is connectome, right? So on the connectome we have stored the data, but that connectome connect with neurons, right? So in our brain more than the 50 trillions the neurons we have, the more than I don't know the actual figure. The people in the past time they have one philosophy. Philosophy क्या था? The very simple philosophy. The brain size, this is the skeleton structure of the brain. कहते हैं जिसका ये skeleton structure जितना बड़ा होगा, they can store the more data. So in the previous research they have measured this one, right? And they say they can store this petabyte of or zettabyte of data. But this philosophy was wrong. After some times they analyze कि ऐसा कोई फिलॉसफी से ये स्कल बड़ा होने से द डेटा स्टोरेज पे कोई इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ता. द सम साइंटिस्ट दे हैव द वेरी स्मॉल स्केल and they have stored the more data, right? That means when we try to store the data, we have to develop our connectome, right? And develop the neurons. I don't know how they develop and how they store, क्योंकि साइंस में ऑलवेज वी ट्राई टू गेस द एब्सोल्यूट गेस, बट एब्सोल्यूट गेस कुछ नहीं होता. यू नो, एब्सोल्यूट गेस तभी पता चलेगा जब एक्चुअल रिजल्ट आएगा. वी आर प्रेडिक्टिंग समथिंग. मैंने कहा था आपको एग्जांपल देकर, इन द नागपुर सिटी in the year 2040 we try to predict the populations and the population was 150, but 150 when we know, जब वो ईयर आएगा then we know the actual data, maybe वो डेटा 150 हो ही ना. So that is one kinds of guess, one kinds of predictions, right? So come on the topic and we say why deep learning is still required. In the whole the philosophy of the machine learning, you can see we have just processed the data through different techniques, right? Just process the data. We have not make any node. In the human mind, we say we have some sort of node we consider, like the connectome we have considered a node. So the so many nodes, the millions of node, right? So the initial philosophy they have taken from the pigeon. Pigeon might be they have 14 15 neurons, very less, but they have taken so many decisions based on the 14 15 neurons, and the human minds the million billion. The exact figures given in the book, one book name is genetic engineering. I can show you those book if you want to work in the genetic, because the genetic engineering also the very famous, and those engineering you can use in the machine learning, right? So we say the connectome we try to store the data, right? So they try to develop one kinds of machine brain like the human mind. The machine learning still failed to map the human brain, right? So they try to again the next in the next step they try to make like the human brain model. So they given the concept like this one, ki okay, we make some sort of layer like in the our mind. I don't know the actual in the mind the layer is available or not, but this is one kind of philosophy, and based on those philosophy they have using these layers, right? So initial layer they have made like the three node we have. This one, this is our initial layer, so we can call the layer 1 or layer 0, L0. Here given some sort of input. What is the input we have? The x value. So I have given the x value here, x value here, x value here, right? I don't know in the mind which connectome the data is stored. मैंने आपको एक इमेज दिखलाया, अब वो किस कनेक्टोम में है मुझे क्या पता. So we try to just make like the model. That's why we say ki, okay, this one is the connectome and there store the data. This data we have stored here x x x, right? Again we make the another layer L1. This data try to process like this one, this one, this one. Again this one, this one, this one. All are connected. All are connected like the mesh network. So in the mind also we consider कि mesh network is working. इसलिए mesh बहुत ही important network है. That's why we make another layer. So this layer we call as a input. This layer we called as a L2 output, and this layer we call the hidden. This is very small model to try to simulate our brain on the machines, right? So in this, again, model, final we will get some sort of output, right? So either we can say this one is the L2, or this one is also a hidden layer, L3 or L2. These all are the hidden layer. This one. This facility is not available in the machine learning. That's why when we try to process the data through this, might be we can get this output. Which output? In the machine learning, you have to remember which output? Y is equal to, I have written, B naught plus B1x. This B1. This V1 we try to get the more accurate, right? We say, I am not saying this is the complete accurate, but we try to get the more accurate. If the real value someone know ki real value is 1, so we try to reach towards the 1. So either the absolute guess could be what? 1, but we don't know ki 1 value we can keep. So we say ki okay, 0.98 someone guess, that is the more accurate value, right? So through this model, we will achieve those accuracy, those value, whatever we have left in the machine learning. That's why the deep learning is also very famous. But where we can use, this is all depends on you and your wisdom. Right? So I think I have covered all the topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Any question you can ask. टाइम बहुत हो गया है इसलिए माइंड काम भी नहीं करता है राइट
Thank you, sir, for this in-depth and elaborative session. I hope all the candidates and participants will be fully satisfied with your session. And thank you so much for coming.
ओके